Shalom, Yasharallah. This your brother Dawada, coming back at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakach Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us this truth and ever will. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So I want to jump into this here article real quick, which says EU wants to force hate crime definitions on member states. Now, this is going on over there in the EU, but we know that, this is ultimately Esau's plan as far as coming down, with the famine of the word. All right. He has these, not to say protected topics and things like that, but he has a way of, subtly trying to silence the prophets. All right. They'll come out and saying that we're misinforming people about, a certain topic or whatever. All right, because it doesn't go with their whatever narrative they're trying to push. And then the crazy part about it is, like, whether it be a day later, a week later, or a couple weeks later, they wind up changing up their story to say exactly what we were saying. All right, but nevertheless, hey, these are these people that are trying to, ultimately we know is trying to silence the prophets. They're trying to, Esau's a big major game plan is to so-called upset prophecy. All right, because he understands that, Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Right. So he feels like in his mind, if he can upset prophecy from, the prophets starting to wake up, going on the highways and the byways and waking up more to the men of the Lord and things like that. If he could stop that from going out, all right, he could stop the prophecies from going. So this is why these topics are so-called taboo and things like that, because, if he was to really break down the things that he's saying about, like I said, with the misinformation things, it's like, well, wait a minute. We're saying this now before you guys, as a job as a prophet, we say before, right? And they go and change up their story, but then yet and still, our videos are taken down because of misinformation, even though we can go back and find their videos on the news and things where they say one thing, all right, and come back and say the complete opposite of those things, and their videos are still up, even though they was misinforming people, all right? And on some of these other topics, the reason that they're pushing these things is, it's not because it's so-called beneficial to people and things like that or anything else like that, but it's used to destroy our people, man, all right? It's used to keep our people in that state of sinning and everything else like that going off, so that we'll stop calling on the name of our Lord, all right? We'll continue to sin, like the scriptures say, your sins have separated you from your power, all right? So this is why Esau is pushing all these, wicked things, all right? Because, I'm not going to get into a lot of these topics because we don't want this here video taken down, which we know how they get, because shit, man, I got all kind of strikes going on right now. But nevertheless, you'll ask, why, if we say that these things are wrong and wicked, and they're pushing the opposite of those things, and you was to turn around and ask them, would you, as a serious response, you'd be like, yo, how would you feel if your child was doing this, or if this was being done to your child? They wouldn't be for that. All right. Just like, for instance, I guarantee you, Mark Zuckerberg. Well, I know Mark Zuckerberg is pushing and promoting for people to use his Facebook platform, right? I don't know if he has kids or not, but ask him if he would want his kids to be on. In fact, there was one of them creators that said that they don't let their kids or their family or nobody like that use those things because they've intentionally put it in these certain types of loops and things like that, like whether it's validation loops and instant gratification and things like that, all these different things to keep you on there and keep you, plugged into the virtual world versus the real world. All right. But nevertheless, they won't let their, their own children use these things. All right. Just like McDonald's, man. All right. I guarantee the CEO of them is like, yo, push and promote. We need everybody to be eating McDonald's. But you ask them how often do they feed their kids McDonald's, or if they feed their kids McDonald's, they'll tell you, no, that ain't healthy for our people to eat. Oh, what message are you pushing out there? All right. They're pushing out there that, we want to see you smile. You can have it your way and all these different things, and it's delicious and all these different things like that. For what? For their agenda, so that they can make money off of those things, not because it's actually good for you. All right. But nevertheless, not to go too far into that, but let's get into this here article. It says, we're not going to read all of it, just a couple of these points in here. All right. It says, the move to enshrine hate crimes into the founding treaties will just be another flashpoint for clashes between Brussels and the likes of Hungary and Poland. The European Commission is proposing to add hate crimes to one of the founding treaties of the European Union. This will give Brussels, it's funny that we, get hit with these, strikes on our channels for talking about so-called hate speech. Well, we telling you, like, look, this is the judgment, all right, of doing the things that you're doing. And, this is how the Most High is going to judge you. We're not saying what we're going to do to you or anything else like that. Like, yo, man, if you don't stop doing these things, the Most High is going to destroy your ass, saying things like that. All right. And it's true. It's just like, yo, man, if you overeat and you become unhealthy and things like that, hey, man, you know, you risk having heart attacks and things like that. Yeah, judgment is going to come down on you. You know, we're not telling you that we're going to stop your heart or anything like that, but this is just what happens when you go down these paths. All right. But nevertheless, like I said, they'll call us saying those things hate speech. All right. When we're not proposing or advocating that we're going to kill anybody or harm anybody or hurt anybody or anything else like that. But yet and still, they'll push and promote and they'll put money behind to advertise these rappers and things like that, where these rappers are out here talking about killing one another and smoking their ops and everything else like that and airing it out. All right. They got these female rappers out here, you know, teaching your daughters to be debaucherous and everything else like that. All right. And just putting all kind of weird visualizations out there like that. You got, you know, this one male rapper that's out there that, you know, he recently basically had an album cover with him being pregnant and things like that. But hey, man, a lot of his music videos, hey, man, a lot of his, I ain't even watched a lot of his music videos. I ain't even on trip, but I think I seen a piece of one of his music videos, and I done already seen, you know, a couple thumbnails to the other one, so I already know what the hell this shit is about. All right, and I wouldn't even watch it my damn self. Like, yo, man, I'm an adult, but this shit is too much for me as an adult to see. How much more a little child, man? All right, where you got, you know, a man dressed, or not dressed up, but, you know, they got the makeup on him like he's Satan, or somebody else is like Satan, and he's over here riding them and having sex. Like, yo, bro, this is borderline pornography, man. All right, and they also having the same things where these people are out here, you know, having the little children, you know, they're reading, you know, books and doing striptease dances on these little children. You got grown men dressed up in these little provocative outfits doing these things to these little girls. And the fact of the matter that these men don't portray themselves as being heterosexual, it's all right. But then you get mad at some people like so-called, and we ain't even trying to defend nobody or nothing like that, but you get mad at R. Kelly because he's dealing with underage girls, which is twice the age of the little girls and the little boys I'm talking about. All right. Again, not advocating none of these things, but they advocate, you know, for a grown man to be dressed up however he's dressed up, to be sitting over here twerking and dancing in front of the whole school, man. All right. But because he's not heterosexual, you know, it's not a problem. It's empowering and things like that. We can't say nothing about these things, man. So it's like the McDonald's situation. Like, yeah, the CEO is going to always try to push and promote his product as if it's something good. All right. Or tobacco companies. They would always promote and push that their product is something good. But ask them if they actually partake in their own product, man. They'll tell you, no, we don't use none of our products because we know what the hell it's going to do to you. All right. So it says the European Commission is proposing to add hate crimes to one of the founding treaties of the European Union. This will give Brussels more power to punish member states that it deems are not effectively tackling hate speech, misogyny, and homophobia. All right. And so, you know, when we go into these things, we really break these things down, you know, the so-called hate speech. Right. Now, this is one of the things they always say, oh, well, racism and this and that. And, you know, the debacle between so-called white folks and so-called black folks. Hey, man, we tell you and the scriptures tell you it ain't got nothing to do with us. All right. It's got to do with Esau. Esau is the one who said, you know, the days of my father are at hand. You know, then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right. He purposed in his heart to kill his brother Jacob. He put it out there to try to hate and kill us. And this was thousands of years ago, and it's still going on to this same very day. All right, he took us into captivity. We didn't take him into captivity. And if you ask the majority of so-called black people, we'll talk about the 2/3 of black people, right? If you ask them, what, you know, how could we so-called fix these things or whatever, whatnot, you know, between so-called whites and blacks, they were just like, yo, just let us go. You know what I'm saying? Let us go do our own thing somewhere else. You know, we just want to be left alone. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like we want revenge on those types of things. All right. But nevertheless, you know, and what we speak about is what the Most High has promised unto us, man. All right. We didn't come up with these conditions. Like, you know what? We're going to band together and we're going to take down the Edomites. And this is what we're going to do to them because this is how we feel. No, the Most High came up with these things before we even woke up to these things. All right. And that's just the way things go. All right. So they talk about this so-called hate speech, but the scriptures say that Esau had a perpetual hatred for his brother. All right. He's the one with the perpetual hatred. All right. We're not the ones over here putting drugs and guns in his neighborhood. All right. Tainting their water supply or killing their unarmed children. All right. And doing things like this to them. We're not over here telling them, hey, look, man, you know, we're going to put y'all in these neighborhoods and take your resources out and put, again, drugs into your neighborhoods and stuff like that, or not hire you or fire you first, or give your children a subpar education, or give you your wives ultimatums like, look, you don't need your man. All right, just we'll you know, as a government, we'll pay for everything that you need. You know what I'm saying? Just get rid of your man and we'll put you on food stamps in Section 8. Fuck. Oh, Salakia, we still good. thought we just lost everything. All right, Salakia. But nevertheless, we don't have the power to do all these things. So how is it that we hate them? All right. If anything, we just want to be let alone. All right. Now, when you get to the brothers that's in this here truth, man, I know I can speak for myself because, hey, man, you know, I don't even know everything that Esau done to us, man. But the things that I do know, all right, and the things that I can see, like like how we are today, man, the things that, like, you know, our people are so brainwashed, you can't even tell your people about these things because Esau has done that much of a good job on them. You know, ultimately it's the Most High. He got them blinded for that reason. But hey, man, we hate the conditions that our people are in. All right. And again, ultimately, we don't hate our people. All right. We hate the conditions that they're in. We hate that they're sinners and everything else like that, man. All right. And if anybody don't understand that, for you men out there, imagine you having a woman that you giving everything for, you sacrificing, going to work and working all these hours and everything else like that. And you come home and see her riding some other dude or doing OnlyFans and things like that. How would you feel about that? All right. You might love your wife, right? But do you love her actions and the things that she's doing? No, of course not. So that's the same thing that we're in. We hate seeing our people out here, sagging their pants and twerking and shit and killing one another, all these different things. The parents not taking care of their children. All right. All these different things. We hate that condition because we see the cycle of these things going on and on and on and on. It's further destroying our people, man. All right. So we hate those things about them. There's nothing wrong with hating none of these things, man. All right. Ask a so-called fit person. Why are they so fit? And like, oh, I hate being fat. You know what I'm saying? I hate being out of shape. All right. And, there's a lot of different things that they hate, man. All right. And if you people say that you don't hate anything, let's see, you got a little 14-year-old daughter and some 30-year-old dude over there trying to plow your daughter or something. Would you love that dude, or would you love that action, or would you hate it? All right. So when we turn these things around, I mean, you people hate things too, man. So what is really hate speech, man? All right. What was the things that Saddam Hussein, was that not hate speech and hate actions? The terrorists and all these types of things. Do you people love the pandemic, or do you hate it, man? All right, you talking about wanting to get rid of the doggone pandemic. Why don't y'all love the pandemic and just want it to stay over here, man? All right, it's apparently y'all over here trying to attack it and trying to get away from these things because, why? You don't like that condition. You hate it, man. All right, but they'll sit up here, oh, it's hate speech. You guys are misogynistic. All right, no, we're not misogynistic, man. We hate seeing... How many of you fathers or mothers want to see your... We ain't going to talk about these women because we know they brainwashed. They lacking having fathers in their household. And see, this is what we hate. So now when we go out here and we see our daughters and then the mothers of our children raising up our daughters, teaching them how to twerk and shit at like the age of 5 and 10 and everything else like that, showing them how to clap their butt cheeks and everything else like that so men can just overly sexualize them and just think of them as a sex toy and everything else like that. They call us misogynistic. All right, because we want our women to be, hey, I don't want my woman to be dressed provocatively like that because I respect my woman and want my woman to be treated the same way. I don't want other dudes, hey, girl, let me clap them cheeks and this and that, man. Nah, hell no, you don't talk to my woman like that. What's wrong with you, bruh? All right, show my woman some respect. All right, but nevertheless, hey, man, this is how, to give you the picture in your mind, you may be drunk at a strip club, talking to the dancer that's all naked and dancing all kind of way. Hey, and in your mind says, she's just a stripper, man. Come here, bitch. Go over there and drop that ass on me or shake them titties on me or whatever, bitch. You might talk to her like that, but then you wouldn't talk to either your teacher, your kid's teacher, a nurse or anything else like that. You like, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Why? Because you respect her, but look at how she's dressed. Look at how she's carrying herself, man. All right. So we don't want the same thing for our women, man. All right. And you want to call that misogynistic. All right. Okay. You can say we hate our women and things like that. But look, ask them if they really love their lives. All right. You ask them if they're married, if they have, if they're in long-term committed relationships. The majority of them will tell them, where's all the good men at? All right. Our men are dogs. Our men are trash and everything else like that. So, hey, man, we want better of our women, but they over here asking where all the good men at. But apparently they so free and they can do whatever they want to go and do. Why they ain't got no man? Why they ain't happy? All right, because they've been sold these here lies, man. Just like them telling you about eating this here McDonald's and everything else like that. Oh, go do this, go do that to be cool and everything else like that. Now your ass got diabetes and stuff like that. You're not, they want to see you smile, but now you got diabetes and shit, man. Come on, man. All right. It says, and homophobia. All right. Now, this is the thing that get me about this. It's like, yo, these niggas, they be creating words because anybody that say you homophobic, they cannot like. This is absurd. First of all, this is a compound word, right? So let's just get with the word phobia. Phobia goes into the fear of. So like you have like let me think of one. Arachnophobia. All right. If you're an arachnophobiac, right? You are afraid of spiders, right? Arachnophobia is what? The fear of spiders, right? So when you put the word phobia on there, all right, it's saying the fear of. So when you say homophobia, all right, you saying if somebody's afraid of so-called gay people? No, we're not afraid of them. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we scared of them and what they gonna do. No, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's more or less like, yo, man, we don't want, again, like I was saying earlier, we don't want to send our kids to school, all right, in the 2nd and 3rd grade to be read story time by a grown man in some little booty shorts and some makeup on over here doing a striptease on them, man. All right, because you're gonna pervert the minds of our kids, man. All right, look, let's not talk about the community and things like that. Let's talk about a straight heterosexual situation, man. All right, how many people, if I was to say, look, man, I'm a father to my own kid, my son, let's just say I got a son, right? I'm a father to my own son or my daughter, both my son and my daughter, right? And I'm about to take them out to go show them, different lifestyles and life and everything else like that. So now my kids, they 5 and 7, let's just say, right? Son and daughter. Now, I'm about to take them to a strip club, full nude strip club, so I can show my son, all right, what a woman, woman's body parts look like, so I can educate him on this, educate him on what the adult life is like and everything like that. How many of y'all would say I was a good father, man, if I was to take my little 7-year-old son to a strip club to teach him about women and the different alternative lifestyles? Because he wants to choose to be a stripper, son. This is what strippers are about at 7. All right. How about if I brought my little daughter there, be like, look, man, this is an alternative lifestyle. And if you want to be, you want to be a stripper, you can go ahead and be a stripper. You want to take your clothes off and slide down the pole and everything else like that and clap them ass cheeks. How many people would say I was a good father if I said these types of things, man? All right. Everybody would say, yo, you need to go to jail, bro. All right. In fact, you need to be put to death. All right. Because you over here corrupting the minds of these children. So again, when it's these heterosexuals saying these types of things, there's a big outcry. But if it was a person of these communities, it's just educating them on these lifestyles and things like that. All right. Educating them on how to have safe anal sex in elementary school, man. They shouldn't be having sex at all, man. All right. Ain't there a law where if you have sex with a minor, that's like, it's a law against that, right? So why would you even be teaching little kids on how to have safe sex? If it's against the law anyway, it's just like trying to teach a 5-year-old how to gamble when gambling is illegal for their ass, man. All right. Don't make no sense. But again, we can understand what these motives are about ultimately, all right? It's to silence the prophets, all right? So we're not going to read any more of this here. Let me read this here paragraph, all right? It says, the European Commission text says hate is moving into the mainstream, all right, which again, talking about us because we're pushing this here vibration about these things, man, all right, about how we want our women to be in line and in order. You didn't really have too many voices that was standing up and being so-called real men and fathers, saying, hey, man, our women need to put their clothes on, man. All right, all our women don't need to be looking like they just came off their shift at the local strip club, man. All right. But nevertheless, they want to say that we're the problem with these things because why? Now we've been pushing out this here vibration. So you have to understand, who this is targeting. All right. It says, Hate is moving towards the mainstream, targeting individuals and groups of people sharing or perceived as sharing common characteristics such as race, ethnicity, language, and religion. And we can lump all that, or nationality. We can lump all that into one thing because, see, again, and they use all these different words and everything else like that. And it ain't got nothing to do with what the fuck, it only really matters about your nationality. All right, when it comes to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because that's the only people, we're calling to repentance, right? It's the only people that can repent because those was the only people that was given the laws. It's not because we excluded nobody, but this is the people, nobody is asking Africans or Africans that live in Africa, Nigerians or Chinese folks to be paying American taxes. Why? Because they don't live here. They're not subjected to these rules. So when we talk about certain things like this, it's only talking geared to our people. So that's the only time and place where all these things really come into play about those things. Now, however, it's not because Esau has so-called white skin, because we have people amongst our group, our nationality, that have so-called white skin, i.e. Mariah Carey. She looked like a so-called white woman, but that's our people, man. All right, you got Blake Griffin. All right. Better yet, look at Blake Griffin's son. Look like Macaulay Culkin. Blonde hair, blue eye, little white boy. Them our people, man. That's one of my little brothers, man. All right. Whether, he in his right mind or not, but that's actually one of our little brothers. So we don't hate him or feel any type of way because of his white skin. We look beyond all those things, man. We look at the spirit. All right. And it's not even because, again, like I said, it's not because of these things, but look at your actions, man. All right. Because like the scriptures say, because Esau has had a perpetual hatred against his brother Jacob. All right. Shame shall cover him. Not because he had white skin. All right. The white skin was only put on him as a marker to show who he was. All right. But nevertheless, it ain't because he had the white skin. It was because of the actions that he did, man. All right. So, I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with your nationality and none of these types of things or nothing else like that. Only when it comes to us preaching repentance into the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and to, you know, basically them same people that were scattered into the other nations that may look like those other nations. All right. It's the only time those types of things come into play. But when it comes down to Esau, it was all because of his actions and what he did. Because when you really go into it, that's our actual twin brother. We got the same mother and the same father. So, like, what are we really saying here, man? All right. He just came out with what you would call in modern days today, what, vitiligo. All right. But nevertheless, it's the same shit. All right. But it was his actions. All right. It says age, sex, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, sex characteristics, or other fundamental characteristics, or combined as such characteristics. Now, again, we already went on all of those things, but when it goes to these sex characteristics and things like that, hey, man, there's a lot of, how do you say it, vile and debaucherous types of ways people are out here having sex and all kind of crazy things like this, man. All right, you got, man, oh, man, we ain't gonna get onto it. And you know, the deeper part about this is the fact of the matter is all these things are actually being pushed and promoted, and it's aimed at you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to continue to get you to go off. All right, you know, I was watching this documentary on I think it was called How Porn Ruined My Life. I think it was a TED Talk. All right, but nevertheless, they was bringing out certain things like, yo, why do they have these titles like dad and daughter, or dad and stepdaughter, or brother and sister, and mom and son, and you know, these types of titles and things like that, man. All right, because these are all unlawful ways of having sex, man. All right, and they go into like all kind of other weird stuff, like the little not Furbies, furries and things like that. All kind of crazy shit, man. All right, you know, they got the thing where a woman is having sex with another man and have her man watching, man. All right, you ain't supposed to be plowing another man's wife, man. But see, they make these things so-called cool, all right, so that our people would follow after this and go off, man, keeping them separated so that, hey, look, the Most High would just disown them all, man. All right, but let's get into the scriptures real quick, man. This is Ezekiel chapter 3, starting at verse 17. This is our job, all right? It's the Son of Man, I have made thee a watchman into the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me, all right? And so let me keep reading. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speaketh to warn the wicked from his wicked ways to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thy hand. All right. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. And again, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die because thou hast not given him warning. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he has done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thy hand. All right. But nevertheless, you know, this was our job to go out there and warn the people from these things. Like I was just saying, man, Esau puts these stumbling blocks out there for our people to continuously go off so that what? They can't call on the Most High, man. All right, as long as our people are out here calling on sweet Jesus, the Most High, Yahushua is not coming for you, bro. All right, you know, as long as our people are out here sleeping around with other men's women and things like that, the Most High's not coming for you, bro. All right, as long as you over here, how they say in, what is that, Romans 1? All right, they not only take pleasure in these things, you know, but they roughly paraphrase and let me grab it real quick so I don't butcher it too bad. Romans 1:32, who knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasures in them that do them. Now, you can read a couple verses up, but again, we're not going to touch on certain topics like that so that we don't get this video flagged speaking on the same topic. But nevertheless, you already know what they're talking about if you read this before. But nevertheless, it says, who knowing the judgment of the Most High, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but have pleasure in them that do it. So, you have a lot of our people that keep silence or condone these types of things and everything else like that. But nevertheless, hey, man, you know, instead, you know, our people are supposed to be going out here warning our people from doing these things. But nevertheless, you have a lot of our people that keep it silent. That's them. Let them do them and everything else like that. Nah, man, this is why we in this condition where we at now. This is why us as a nation are in captivity, man. All right. You know, people like to say, oh, you can't judge me. Only God can judge me. Well, we in this condition, in this captivity, and all of our lives suck. to the point where none of us are happy out here because why? One another didn't judge one another. Hey, brother, you going off. Hey, sister, you going off. All right. So now, because our people kept saying, hey, only God can judge me. The Most High has judged us. And look at where we at now. We fully destroyed, man. All right. So nevertheless, dealing with these here different things, Esau is putting these stumbling blocks out there for our people to fall. All right. Let me grab this too while I'm what's hot on my mind. This is I know it says John 3:18. Nope, 19. And this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world, and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. All right, so hey man, they want to hide in the cloak. They want to. A lot of these people are pushing and promoting these things because they themselves are doing these things, man. All right, and they don't want to be so-called ostracized, so they feel like, look, misery loves company. So if I can get everybody else to do it, then I can go ahead and do it too, man. All right, so you can't really judge me about these types of things and everything else like that, man. All right, just like you hear a lot of these women that's pushing and promoting these types of things. Like I can give you a prime example. Your girl Angela Yee off the Breakfast Club. If you listen to a lot of the things she be saying, she's never really promoting, a so-called, any of the Israelite tribes, but a so-called black couple being together and staying together, man. All right, she's always pushing and promoting that a woman can go out and go do whatever she want to go do. All right, if she chooses, I heard her say one time that this dude called in about how some guy was talking to his old lady and befriended her, and just so he can pretty much hit it or whatever. And then, obviously that became a problem in their relationship, and then, but homegirl's reply to that was the fact that, well, that was her choice to go and do that. You can't really do nothing about that. If she decided to go and do that, that's what she wanted to go and do. All right. But now if it was flipped around the other way around and a woman was calling something about her man was being unfaithful and he wanted to go out and sleep out, she wouldn't have gave her the same advice. Like, oh, that's what he decided to do. If he wanted to go do that, he gonna go and do that. All right, she's like, nah, you need to leave him and everything else like that, breaking them apart. So what she's really doing is she don't want to shed light to the wickedness that these women are out there doing and pushing and promoting that. So can't nobody say nothing to her about the things that she's doing. All right. She's always down in everybody else's marriage and everything else like that. Oh, I don't really support getting married and everything else like that. So she can just run the streets, you know what I'm saying? And continue to just ride the carousel day in and day out. And don't nobody want to say nothing to her because this is the message that she's pushing out. Girl, it's fine for you not to get married. You go live your life and go do all these things and work on yourself, get your business and your money and everything else together, man. All right. And I got one question. Obviously, Lord's will, we ain't going to be here to all that. Like, let's say you do amass all this here money and house and business and everything else like that, and you get old, forget about the cats and the dogs you're going to be having and everything else like that. When you get to your old age and you need somebody to take care of you, what you going to do? Go into a nursing home and just do that and just have them take care of you? And them people don't care. That's their job. They don't really care about you. That's just their job, right? But nevertheless, all that stuff that you worked for, all the money you got in your businesses and everything else like that, when you die, you know where it's going, right? The state finna get it back. So you pretty much just amassed all these things for the government to get. You ain't got nobody to pass it down onto. So what was the point of all these things, man? All right. But nevertheless, they don't think about these things. But like I said, they push and promote these things to cloak themselves in their own wickedness. All right. Let me read it again. John 3:19. And this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world. All right. The truth is coming to the world to expose all this here wickedness. All right. A woman shouldn't be jumping around from man to man and everything else like that because they over here pair bonding with all these different men. They ain't gonna never have a stable relationship and everything else like that. They ain't gonna never be able to, settle down with just one man. And if they have kids, the kids gonna grow up with having random men coming throughout the house. So if she have a daughter, she ain't gonna know how to be loved by a man because she ain't got her father in the house. If she have a son, he ain't gonna know how to be an actual man because he ain't had his father in the house to show him how to do all these things, man. So you didn't ruin the next generation. But guess what? She don't want to be exposed because why? She want to continue to go out there and just be a wicked ass woman anyway, man. All right. And this is the condemnation that light is coming to the world and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Don't tell me what I'm doing wrong because I want to keep doing all these here things, man. Worry about what you got going on, man. We should be allowed to go do whatever we want to go and do, man. All right. Again, going back into these women, they wanted this feminist and these women rights and do all these things to be free and be liberated, do all these things. Okay, now you free and you liberated. And what did y'all wind up doing with your freedom and your freedom of choice to do and be whatever you wanted to be? You're all basically paid sex workers, man. All right, whether you want to believe or not, no, Salak, I messed that up. You're all sex workers. All right, some of y'all are getting paid and the majority of y'all are not. All right, you got these social media platforms like OnlyFans and things like that, or you selling it on the side. Hey, like I said, those are the paid ones. All right, a lot of you are unpaid sex workers because you look at your Instagrams and your Twitters and your Facebooks and all these showing your provocative pictures and everything else like that. And a lot of these women will say, "Oh, this is just for me and my own." Well, then why don't you keep them pictures on your own camera roll in your own phone, man? All right, you ain't got to put that to for the world to see and everything else like that, man. All right, what message are you pushing and promoting out to the world, man? All right, that's what you do. All right, if I had a Facebook, right, or a social media platform, obviously I would only have one for my business and things like that. But I would upload pictures and things like that to do what? To advertise what? My business and the things that I'm doing so I can attract customers so they can contact me over business. But what are you women out there putting up on your social media with all your freedoms and your liberties, man? All right, you're trying to sell what? Your body, man. I mean, whether you're saying you're selling it or you actually, there's a price on it, but you're trying to attract men based off of that. All right, I'm trying to attract people to contact me based off of the work that I'll be doing. So I'm putting up my work or what I'm, showcasing what I'm valuable for, man. All right, so, hey, man, misery loves company, man. They want to continue to push you into these directions so they can continue with their own evil wickedness, man. All right. Where's that at? It's Isaiah 3. I guess Isaiah 3. Yep. Isaiah 3:12, it says, as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. See, they got all these liberties and everything else like that right now, man. All right. But what happened to our community? Now, they was talking about how oppressed they were and everything else like that. Now they all liberated. So now when you look at our community as a whole, all right, now these women that's out here, all right, if you're honest with yourself, if our community actually got better, you wouldn't be crying about where's all the good men at. All right. You wouldn't be complaining about how all your men, all our so-called men are trash and everything else like that. You wouldn't be complaining about that if y'all beg for your liberations and your freedoms and everything else like that so y'all can have a better life. All right. You wouldn't be in this here condition that we're in now. All right. You can't blame it all on men because y'all are the ones got so-called liberated. We didn't gain anything out of this. We actually lost everything in these things. But nevertheless, you got your education, your freedom. You was free to go do whatever you want to go and do. You got your own house, your own money, your own jobs. But nevertheless, are you happier? All right. Do you have all the things that you want in life? All right. Are your children being brought up in a healthy environment? All right. But no, it says women rule over, as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. Oh, my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and to destroy the way of thy path. All right. So look, when you look at these young kids, this new generation is coming out playing a knockout game and the milk crate challenge and just want to twerk and shit like that and just basically be a bunch of heathens and shit like that. Who raised all of them? Who was leading them on the way up? Their fathers wasn't in the household because their mothers pretty much bit the apple again and followed after this seducing ass, lying ass devil, man. Bite of this, take my philosophies, and we'll help you out. You don't need no man. You'll be your own God at this. You'll be empowered if you do all these things. But you done lost all the power that you had, man. All right, now you're not over there raising your kid because you're too busy working on your career and everything else. So who's raising your kid? The TV? Who's pushing the agenda on the TV? The devil, man. All right, so our people have been led astray. All right, and it started with what? That women's rights and the women's liberation and civil rights and all these different things like that. All right, with all these things that have destroyed our communities, man. All right, but we can't say anything about these things because now it's all hate speech and everything else like that, man. We're misogynistic and everything else like that. Hey, man, again, I should not see no video of no woman on the internet of our women complaining about none of the conditions about where we at, with the men or anything else like this and what's going on with all these folks out here and everything. You have no room to complain about these things because you asked for your freedoms. You got your freedoms. We didn't direct you on what you should be doing or nothing else like that. You made choices you wanted to make, and this is what the result of it is, man. All right. You know what? We'll just close out with this. I had one more, Mom, but we'll close out with this. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the word of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from north even to the east, and they shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. And that day shall the fair virgins and the young men faint for thirst. All right. So the word of the Lord is going forth. All right. But, they're trying to stop it, basically, and hiding under the guise of hate speech and all these different types of things, medical misinformation and all these different things. But there's going to be coming a point in time where people are going to be looking for answers, man. But the Most High is going to have the men of the Lord off the highways and the byways of putting out these videos. But it's going to come through Esau with his little hate speech and his censorship and everything else like that, man. All right. But, hey, man, you have men that's out there trying to, tell you what's right and everything else like that, man. You may not like how it's coming out, but it is the truth. Like people, Kevin Samuels got real big, all right, but the way he was saying a lot of things wasn't a popular opinion. Telling a woman she's the size of a linebacker and everything else like that, man. That sounds like it's bad. It sounds like hate speech. But hey, ask the majority of men. If you got a young, not even young, but a fit woman, all right, versus this obese woman, 99.9% of these men would say, I would rather the fit woman than the obese woman, because obviously she's not making good, healthy choices. And if I have kids with her, how's she going to raise my kids? What is she going to be doing for me as far as when she's trying to feed me? What kind of food she going to be giving me and things like that, man? All right. And then they say certain things, we're not going to get into all those other topics and things he speak about. But nevertheless, hey, man, is he actually, you may say that his tone and the way he say these things is hateful and harmful, but is the information that he's giving out, would it help or would it harm our people? All right. Him telling a woman that she's the size of a linebacker and she need to get her weight in check, is that helping or harming our people? It may hurt her feelings, but is it really helping or harming her health? All right. And her children's, their livelihood. Because if their mom died, they're going to be sad, right? That's probably somebody's daughter that's still alive. They'll be sad, right? She probably got relatives. They'll be sad too if her weight wasn't in check. You go to the doctor, they tell you the sad, ugly truth, man. Hey, man, you a diabetic, man. We got to cut this here leg off, man. You got to stop doing this, stop doing that, or you're going to die. You only got a couple years to live, all right? Or you over here having all this high-risk, unprotected sex and everything else like that, just day in and day out, hey, man, you're going to catch a disease and die, man. Would you rather the doctor not tell you that and you just keep constantly spreading these things and then the next thing you know, you just dead out there? Or would you rather the doctor tell you, hey, man, you done contracted this serious disease and it ain't looking so good. You need treatment. All right, it may hurt your feelings to hear that, but, hey, overall, that, you're getting the help that you need, man. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. Lord willing, this here lesson was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, I say stay strong. Well, until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and uttered well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.